Have you ever felt like life is unfair when something good slips away or when struggles feel endless? Maybe you've asked yourself, why me? If that sounds familiar, then this story may just change the way you see those moments. Today, we're going to talk about strength in struggles, patience in uncertainty, and faith when life doesn't make sense. Because sometimes, what feels like the worst moment of your life may actually be the beginning of something better. To show you what I mean, let me tell you the story of Mr. Adam, a humble man from a small village. His life was full of challenges, but through every rise and fall, he discovered a truth that can guide us all. At the foot of a green hill, surrounded by a thick forest, there was a small, quiet village. And in that village lived a man named Mr. Adam. He was middle-aged, poor by most standards, but rich in something far greater: contentment. For Mr. Adam, having enough food to eat twice a day was already a blessing. He never complained, and he was always grateful for what little he had. Mr. Adam owned a small piece of land where he grew crops. He worked hard every day, and by his side was his only son, Daniel. But they weren't alone. Helping them was Max, a strong white horse who was more than just an animal. He was part of their family. Max was smart, hardworking, and loyal. Together, the three of them faced life's struggles with quiet strength. But as peaceful as their days seemed, life has a way of testing us. And soon, Mr. Adam's faith and calm spirit would be challenged in ways the whole village would witness. One day, news of Max's beauty and cleverness reached the ears of a wealthy businessman from the city. Curious, he traveled to the village with his son just to see the horse for himself. And when he laid eyes on Max, he was astonished. He offered Mr. Adam a large sum of money, enough to lift his family out of poverty forever. The villagers watched closely, expecting Adam to accept without hesitation. But to everyone's surprise, he refused. He simply smiled and said no. To him, Max wasn't just property, he was family. The villagers shook their heads and whispered, "Adam is a fool. He gave up a fortune." But not long after, something shocking happened. One morning, Max was gone. His stable was empty. Adam and Daniel searched everywhere, but there was no sign of him. The villagers wasted no time in mocking Adam again. See, he wasn't even worthy of keeping such a valuable horse, they laughed. Some even accused the businessman of stealing Max. Daniel, heartbroken, turned to his father. "Dad, we've lost something so important. How can you be so calm?" Mr. Adams simply smiled and replied, "My son, don't worry too much. Good or bad, we cannot judge in a single moment. Time will tell." Days passed, and life in the village went on. Then, one morning, while Adam and Daniel were working in the fields, they saw a sight that left them speechless. Max had returned, and he wasn't alone. Trotting beside him were 5 wild horses, strong and untamed, following him as if he were their leader. The news spread through the village like fire. The same people who mocked Adam before were now amazed. They rushed to his home, praising his luck. "Adam is so fortunate," they said. "He lost one horse, but now he has 6. But Adam didn't let their words affect him. He simply smiled and said, "Perhaps Max went into the forest to find his herd. Now he has returned with them." No excitement, no pride, just the same calm spirit as before. Daniel, however, noticed something. Even in this moment of happiness, his father's heart remained steady, unshaken by fortune or praise. And little did Daniel know, this was only the beginning of their trials. With the wild horses now in their care, Daniel worked tirelessly to tame them. Day after day, he trained, guided, and tested their strength. He dreamed of how useful these new horses would be for the farm and for their livelihood. But one afternoon, while riding one of the untamed horses, disaster struck. The horse bucked violently, throwing Daniel to the ground. His leg broke badly, leaving him in terrible pain. The villagers, who had once called Adam lucky, began to whisper again. "These horses brought nothing but trouble," they said. Adam should have sold Max when he had the chance. Lying in pain, Daniel turned to his father. "Dad, this time something truly bad has happened. How can this possibly be good?" But Adam remained calm, just as he always did. He placed his hand gently on his son's shoulder and said, "Good or bad, son, those cannot be judged in a single moment. Time will tell everything." Daniel shook his head. How could his father stay so peaceful when his only son was now crippled by injury? He couldn't yet see what his father saw, that sometimes pain carries a hidden blessing. Only a week later, the village was shaken by terrifying news. A war had broken out in the country. Soldiers were sent to every town, gathering all the young men to fight on the front lines. Families wept as their sons were taken away, not knowing if they would ever return. When the soldiers reached Adam's home, they looked at Daniel's broken leg and left him behind. He was spared because of his injury. As the days passed, word returned that many of the village boys who went to war never came back. The air was filled with grief and the sound of mourning. Suddenly, Daniel began to understand. What seemed like the worst moment of his life, his broken leg, had actually saved him from an even greater tragedy. The villagers, once again, came to Adam, saying, "You are so lucky. Your son survived, while we lost ours." But Adam, with the same steady calm, simply said, "This is why we must not judge too quickly. What seems bad today may protect us tomorrow. What seems good today may lead to sorrow. Time reveals everything." As Daniel healed slowly, he and his father often sat together, watching the sun set behind the hills. One evening, Adam spoke softly, reminding his son of all that had happened. "Do you see, Daniel? When Max disappeared, it felt like a terrible loss. But he returned with 5 more horses. When your leg broke, it felt like the end of your strength. But that injury spared your life from the war." Daniel listened closely, and for the first time, he began to understand what his father had been teaching all along, that life cannot be judged in single moments. What feels like a curse today might be a blessing tomorrow. What feels like fortune today might bring hardship later. Adam looked at his son with peace in his eyes. "That is why, my son, when something good happens, don't let pride carry you away. And when something painful happens, don't let sorrow break you. Everything is part of time, and in time, everything will pass." The real wisdom, Adam explained, is to stay balanced. Not to lose yourself in joy or despair, but to trust that every moment, whether bitter or sweet, is part of a greater plan. Now, you might be wondering, what does this story mean for us today? The truth is, every one of us goes through moments that feel unfair, painful, or confusing. But like Mr. Adam taught his son, we can't always see the bigger picture right away. Think about it. Maybe you've lost a job, only to find a new opportunity later that fit you even better. Maybe a heartbreak left you shattered, but it cleared the way for a healthier, stronger love. Maybe struggles you faced taught you lessons that shaped who you are today. Life has a way of hiding blessings in the middle of pain and lessons inside of struggles. That's why patience matters. That's why faith matters. And that's why we must hold on to hope, even when the road feels dark. Remember, good or bad, nothing lasts forever. Everything will pass. What truly matters is how we carry ourselves through it, with strength, gratitude, and trust in the journey. So, what can we take away from Mr. Adam's story? Life is full of twists and turns, but we don't have to be shaken by every rise or fall. When good things happen, stay humble. When hard times come, stay patient. And above all, trust that time and faith will reveal the bigger picture. If you're going through something difficult right now, remember, this moment does not define you. It will pass, and it may carry a blessing you can't yet see. Hold on to hope, and don't let either pain or success control your peace. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What lesson did this story teach you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe for more inspirational stories like this one. Until next time, stay strong, stay grateful, and trust the journey.